what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966. 66!
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. What's up with you guys? How you doing? I just crushed myself a Clubhouse sandwich. I haven't had one of those in a while. And I was eating it, and I was like, dude, I like this. I know some of you guys might be vegetarian and stuff, and like I said on some of the podcasts, or the kale one, I'm doing a primarily plant-based diet. I believe that's what he was calling it. And that's kind of what I'm doing, you know. But every once in a while, I like to just eat a Clubhouse.
I order the club sandwich all the time, and I'm not even a member, man. I don't know how I get away with it. I like my sandwiches with 3 pieces of bread. So do I. Well, let's form a club there. Okay, but we need some more stipulations. Yes, we do. Instead of cutting the sandwich once, let's cut it again. Yes, 4 triangles. And we will position them into a circle. And in the middle, we will dump chips. Or a potato salad. Okay. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about frilly toothpicks? I'm formed. Well, this club is formed. Spread the word on menus nationwide. I like my sandwiches with alfalfa sprouts. Well, you're not in the fucking club.
That, of course, being the great Mitch Hedberg. Definitely, without a doubt, the best comedian ever. I mean, maybe you're arguing. There's a few other stand-ups that I would say, you know, they were funny and stuff. You know, your Jerry Seinfelds, your Chris Rocks, you know, you go down the list, and lots of these people, you know, your Louis C.K.'s, they were great. But Mitch Hedberg, he just had his own style, you know. He was doing his own thing. Quite similar to our guest today, Jesse Augustinus, all the way from the Netherlands. This kid kind of captured my eye, being like, what? Like, how is he getting so good over there? Like, what is he doing? He's getting so good, like, so quick. So I did some homework, and, well, Jesse has become a master rail rider because his local resort, Snow World, is an indoor park in the Netherlands, and it never closes. It's open year-round. Harsh. I know, right? Where's our snow domes, right? Well, in this little snow dome, it basically allows him to do this thing called compound boarding, which is similar to compound interest if you know anything about finance. And it's basically an algorithm in which your snowboarding starts to accelerate at a rate which nobody can really understand. Others would argue that his talent comes with thousands upon thousands of hours and laps at the snow dome, which is open year-round, which has given him, you know, incredible skills that you can't take away from the guy anymore. And, dude, the guy got 3rd at X Games, Real Street this year. There's a few clips I'd like to point out. The back 180 switch nose press half cab, the back tail pop-in. I mean, good tricks. The cab 270 on the Jake Kuzik frontboard pretzel rail. I can't wait to see more of his footage in the upcoming years. I feel he's just going to get better and better. The dome is going to put his skill level onto a new level. If here in Canada we had the opportunity to open a snow dome, would you be for it? Of course you would. Do we start a GoFundMe? I mean, hit me up in the DMs if you want to start a dome with me. I have no money to put into the dome, but I'd be happy to have a dome so I could ride a little bit more like Jesse, because his level of consistency it's another league, dude. The kid's skills, they're evident. They're there. His style's there. The kits are there. You know, I love that he's filming more in the streets now and less in the snow dome. Although I like to see the snow dome footage, I also love to see him outside of his natural habitat, pushing the street scene. I don't know, is that what you call it? I feel like Andy Wright doesn't like one of those words, streets, or is it urban? Urban. He told me on a trip, and I don't think he likes the word urban. I kind of don't either, you know, it's not my favorite. You know, I like to say, you know, not going out into the urban environment, but to the streets. If you take the last few episodes, you know, I feel like if you mix together Dara's yoga, Kale's vision, Duff's positivity, and Jesse's work ethic, we're all going to be unstoppable come 2021. That's where we're moving as a community right now. It's crazy. All right, a word from our sponsor, the best snowboard boots in the business, Vans. All right, the boots that I'm here to talk about today are the one, the only, high standard OGs, Jake Kuzik, Moonbeam and Black colorway. These things are looking minty. And for a beautiful price of $260 Canadian, these boots got you covered if you're looking to ride more of a bare mountain, Mount Seymour style of terrain, perfect for intermediate. They work all mountain. I wear these boots as my go-to park boot. If you're looking for about a 5 out of 10 on the flex scale, these boots are for you. You want to get into the tweaks and the nitty-gritty of those blunt slides and feebles and Smiths. Those tricks have been coming back hard right now. I know some people are like, what, Smiths? But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Nollie frontside Smith back 180. I filmed a few of those a long time ago with Brockle, and I don't know if he used them or not, but like, dude, yeah, I was way ahead of the curve. Anyway, Smith grinds are coming back in, and if you want to get into them, Jay Kuzik would be super hyped to see you smithing on his new boot. Not a guarantee. The high standard OGs, check them out today at your local snowboard shop or vans.com or vans.ca.
All right, here's the deal. Every time you watch my show, I will send you $40.
Checks will not be honored.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on the show. All the way from a far, far island, a huge island, a European one at that. We have Jesse. I'm going to butcher your last name, so you say it.
It's Augustinus.
Okay, I was going to say Augustinus, but I felt like you're going to say it better, I felt like I was like, I don't want to ruin this for everybody, so.
No, that was pretty good.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show, man.
No, dude, thank you for having me. It's an honor. Big fan of the show.
Nice. I mean, what episode did you like?
I just listened to the Stala one. I was actually listening back a little bit because I didn't have time before. The Stala one was cool. The Fronius one was pretty funny, and his love stories.
I loved Justin's. Unfortunately, we had to take that down due to some complications with some friends or whatever. There was a little bit of some beef over some stuff on there. And
oh, okay.
Either way, it was two people that weren't down with how the episode came out. I think maybe Justin didn't want to say some stuff that he said. It bugged some of his friends, so I think it was just best that he wanted to just like not have it up on the internet for whatever reason, give it some breathing area or whatever. And I respect that, I'm not going to just leave something on the internet forever that somebody's not happy with. It's like,
sure,
who would want to share a video part that you didn't like and have it on the internet forever?
Right. No, but yeah, I understand. I actually saw some of the comments and I was like, oh, I guess this is who he was talking about. But yeah, I mean, he was very honest in his episode, and that was pretty cool. So
I liked it a lot. I got a lot of there was a lot of really epic dudes that I really look up to that don't always reply on episodes that hit me up after that one. They're like, oh, I really liked how genuine he was. Like, it just came off that like those were his feelings and like he was saying them. And yeah, I really liked it too. It's too bad that if you got to listen to it, great. If not, well, I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Yeah, you can fill in for him. So what has your summer looked like?
Summer's been, obviously, I guess for everybody, it's been kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. The indoor closed down for 2 months, so I wasn't able to go snowboard for 2 months, which I usually am. Yeah, I just went skateboarding. We were in lockdown here, so the skate parks were at least open. The weather was nice, so I just skated a bunch, and then the indoors opened back up July 1st. So I've just been snowboarding every day ever since.
Sick, very sick. Yeah. I'll just make a quick remark. I'll delete this after, but I can like hear some audio of you like, are you like rubbing anything?
Maybe it's the cable.
Oh, okay. Is that where your microphone's on?
I think so. I think it's this thing.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, never mind. That's all good. I was just worried that you were actually like touching the iPhone, and then
no.
that all that audio comes through. Anyways, no worries. I'll just delete that little segment. But the indoor domes being closed must be heartbreaking for you, as when I think of the snow dome, your name is starting to there's the yin and the yang, you guys go hand in hand together. I mean, I've been an advocate for Justin Trudeau, our prime minister here in Canada. I've been tagging him and he hasn't gotten back to me, but we want a snow dome in Canada. We see what happens when you have a snow dome. You get really, really good. I mean, so where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in where I live now. It's called Prunsum. It's all the way in the south of the Netherlands. It's only 10 minutes from Belgium and 10 minutes from Germany.
So to me, what comes to mind is, which is totally wrong, and I'm thinking of like beautiful women, wooden shoes, and like wheels that spin in the water and stuff like that. Like, what's it like growing up there? What is it like growing up in the Netherlands?
I don't know. It's pretty cool. I mean, we're pretty like, we're super modern. Like, people would think like we're walking around with wooden shoes, but it's quite the opposite. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's almost like growing up kind of anywhere. We go through the same shit as everybody else. There are no mountains here. There's no snow ever here. So growing up as a snowboarder was kind of weird. But
did you have to go? I know some European countries have like, you have to go and spend a certain amount of time, like in the military or anything like that. Was that a part of your
No, luckily not. That's only in I think right now only in Austria and Finland that they have.
Okay. Yeah, because I think Ika mentioned that on the podcast, and I was like kind of like blown away. And I know my friend Kareem, who's from Sweden, I felt like, I don't know if they used to have to or if he's done it, but I was like, wow, like that's crazy. You get forced to go to the military. But
yeah, that's not the case anymore. I think they stopped that in like 97. So
well, when I think about the Netherlands, I do not think about like war and stuff like that. I think of a very peaceful place of everybody just having a very good time.
yeah. We don't really want to get into war. We're a pretty small country. We'll get shit on pretty quickly.
No, nobody wants to go to wars anymore. It's just a bad time. I feel like everybody who's ever been in a world war is like, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not worth it I feel like it's almost like for a few rich people, a few billionaires, they make a bunch of money and everybody else is just left with no homes. And they're like, well, that was a bad time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you see what's going on right now in Azerbaijan and you know, like the situation there is absolutely crazy. And
what's this? Sorry, I probably haven't been filled in with this because different news. I mean, our news right now is only about the American election. So fill us in a little bit about.
So there's this war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and it's about this little area. I guess geographically it's part of Azerbaijan, but the people living there are Armenians, and I don't know, Azerbaijanis have just been killing all the civilians there, and it's full on like war zone right now, like at this moment over there. So it's pretty crazy.
It's
and
wild.
Seeing that, like, yeah, you don't want to get into any of that shit.
I mean, you're sitting there peacefully listening to like, a new Gucci Man song, Riding in the Snow Dome. And then there's other people who are literally shooting shells at each other. It's like,
yeah.
And for what? I feel like a lot of it has to do with either like ego and like you want to take over somebody because of different beliefs. And it's just seems like such a waste of life when someone dies for like such a, I don't know, not meaningful cause to some extent. I mean, some people, obviously, it's like they're protecting their families, which hell yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But I mean, it seems like most wars are fairly meaningless. And when they end, it's just devastating.
Right. Yeah. It's no good. Luckily, it's not. It's all peaceful here.
Yo, you guys got Netflix over there?
We do. Yeah, we do.
I watched some documentary on like the Vietnam War. Fuck, is it sick? It's like such like an unbiased documentary, and it just explains like why the hell it was just a most meaningless war of all time. And even like you get to the bottom of it, it almost seems like the presidents of the United States going back in there is just like they're fully doing it because they're like, no, we refuse to lose. We're the US, we can't lose. It's like, why are you sending over kids to go and die in the jungle for, I don't know. It was a crazy documentary. And if you get a chance, go on Netflix. I forget the name of it, but wild documentary. Anyways, we're both anti-war people here, which is great because we've never hung out before. We've never met. This is the first time on a Zoom call. And
2020.
Yeah, 2020, man. Technology is crazy. What was it like in the Netherlands with the lockdown of COVID? Did the whole place shut down? Did you guys,
No, actually we didn't. We had this, they called it like intelligent lockdown. So they closed down all the like restaurants and stuff, but they were still open for pickup. And then they closed down all like indoor sporting stuff. So like inside gyms, swimming pools, everything. But we weren't like not allowed to go outside. So some countries were not allowed to go outside at all, unless they were doing like grocery shopping. For example, Italy and Austria, they couldn't go outside at all. We didn't go through that. We just closed down businesses and we were allowed to go outside.
And were the repercussions of that like pretty devastating to the local economy? Like, are there a lot of small businesses like boarded up and stuff? It's interesting to go just around Canada. I just went back home to the middle, to Manitoba, where I'm from. There's like a lot of small businesses and small towns that have been like so affected by this, and it's devastating. And where I'm kind of going with this whole thing is like, I mean, I don't know if you have a local shop sponsor there, but like snowboard and skate shops are probably hit pretty hard around the whole world right now.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't ride for any shop sponsor anymore, but luckily our government, I think they helped out quite a lot and tried to not have any businesses close down and like go bankrupt. So I'm sure a lot did, but I think they tried to prevent most of that happening. And we're actually in sort of a second lockdown right now because the cases have been going back up, and they only close down restaurants right now. So all the clothing stores and other shops, gyms are still open. That's because they want to prevent.
We're the exact same way. It's the exact same thing going on here. It's like it's like the re-up, but I also feel like it is flu season. Typically, this is when a lot more people are getting sick to begin with. Right. So I don't know what the correlation between that is, and neither do you either, because we're both not doctors or economists. But I mean, devastating nonetheless. So going back to the snow dome, you can ride that thing 24/7. Like if it wasn't COVID, that thing's year round.
Yeah, that thing's year round, not 24/7, but it's open from 8:30 in the morning until 11 in the evening. So almost the whole day. Yeah, it's perfect.
What age did you get to go to the snow dome? Like when did they open? When was this?
I think it's been open for probably 17 or 18 years now. This one that I ride. So there's one like 2 hours away from here that's been open for 5 years longer. That one's the oldest.
And are you the first like super pro to make it out of riding at that snow dome, or is there other riders that people would recognize the names of that have come from riding those snow domes?
No, especially the one I ride. I could say I'm the first one to make it out of there.
Dude, the snow dome prodigy. This is so sick.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's so nice.
I mean, dude, growing up there, and we didn't grow up in a snow dome, and it wasn't year round, but we had the tow rope. So the tow rope allowed us to get like thousands of laps in on the down rail, the kink, the box, battleships, rainbow rails. There was like 10 or 12 features at our local park, and we would get to lap them at an infinite rate. I don't think like a lot of kids realize how good you get at riding rails when you're at somewhere like a small little dome and you get those extra laps. It's like, if you're learning, I look at your tricks, I don't think there's too many that you can't do. Well, when you have that much, like how much practice do you think you've had on the board? Like 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours? Like,
yeah, it's probably getting pretty ridiculous at this point. Cause I still to this day, ride 5-6 times a week there. So I'm probably getting in even more hours now than like when I was younger.
What age did you get when was this? When did you get hooked? Like, when were you like, snowboarding's my shit? I identify with this. These are the people I want to be like. I want to film a video part one day.
So I started snowboarding when I was around 7, and then I started going to the indoor when I was like 8, 9, 10-ish, and then just kept going more and more. And yeah, that's pretty much as soon as I started going more, I knew I just wanted to be a snowboarder. It's all I thought of. I wasn't into any other sports before. Like I wasn't doing like playing like soccer or something. Like most young kids here in the Netherlands grew up playing soccer. I was never doing anything like that. So it was really the first like interest I had. And yeah, that's why I think I got so hooked on it.
What was your first video that like Sean, like, because you're a little bit younger. When were you born? 90.
I'm 95. I just turned 25.
Okay, so exactly. So you had like the whole .com thing was a reality in your growing up, in your childhood. Like, you're going out, you can check out the Bear Mountain and edit Sunday in the Park. Like, you go to Transworld or Snowboarder Mag or Method or anything like that, they're uploading new content that you can be addicted to.
Right, exactly. But I did grow up. I remember very, very well going to Switzerland, and I met these pro snowboarders at the time from the Netherlands who all wrote for Forum and Genius, and these were like the first role models I ever had. And I remember they put me onto like the Forum movies, and they gave me a copy of the Resistance, and I don't know. I probably like played that so much until it wouldn't play anymore. So I was at very young age, like I knew about what was cool and what wasn't, and that's all because of those guys.
Yeah, you got to have role models at like a really young age, and it's interesting because I feel like everybody either had the cousin or the older kid who gives them like the DVD or the VHS, and is like, this is the shit, and you're like, okay, because I already look up to you and you told me that this is the shit. You look at that thing like it's the Bible, and you're watching the Resistance every day with like Peter and, you know, JP and Jeremy and and Devin, and the intro to that movie, and you're just like, Forum is the best shit ever.
Yeah, and like seeing like JP getting beat up when I was 8, I was like, what the fuck? What's this? Like, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
I love that the Resistance was like your first movie that you were burning through, because that movie is so good. Even to this day, you throw on the Resistance, it's like you're gonna have a great time. The introduction alone just gets you so fired up.
Yeah, for sure. I just watched it again last month. I hadn't watched it for a long time, and I was like, "Well, this is still like amazing."
Who was your favorite part in the Resistance?
It'll be JP's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and at the time when the Resistance came out, I feel like that was like a pretty groundbreaking film. But like your era, you probably got that VHS like years later, like after it came out. It's not like you got it when you were 7. So it's like there was a bunch of like, you know, Child Support was probably coming out, and the like, you know, Mac Dog probably moved on to already like Double Decade. When was it that you kind of caught up with what was going on? And what was the video like that you got addicted to once you were like kind of like, oh, these are the videos that are coming out right now?
So because I met those dudes, they all wrote for Forum, and there was this distribution center in the Netherlands, and I kind of got hooked up through them. I started getting Genius boards, and then I started getting Forum boards. So from the beginning on, I was super Forum, like 4-star, Foursquare, like all this stuff. I was super down. So that was pretty much all I was watching. I was watching Video Gangs all the time, the Resistance, and then I pretty much just watched Forum movies. That was my shit. And anytime like a Forum writer would be in a different movie, like that was all I watched. I just wanted to be Forum. Like I just wanted to be like Laurie Heiskari, really.
Oh man, it's funny that you're so much younger than me, but you're like exactly the same. Video Gangs was a huge video for me. That was like, I mean, obviously I had videos before that I was burning through. Amp, True Life, and the Resistance were big videos for me as well.
Yeah.
But Video Gangs, when it came out, was my first like, I don't think I've ever watched any video more than Video Gangs. And Larry's part, when that came out, same thing. I was like, this is my dude.
Yeah.
I was so bummed that I had like black hair. I was like, oh, I wish I was had blonde hair and that cool white beanie that he had. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna say that I like got a white fluffy beanie right after, and I was just rocking that. I had long blonde hair and everything.
Yes, so you could be the doppelganger. I had my local at my local hill, my friend Josh got his grandmother to stitch him a hat that looked as close to Laurie's hat from that video.
That's so sick. That's so sick. I think that's super dope.
I hope kids today still like want to do that, and like when a video comes out or they watch somebody, they go like, I don't know how I can get that jacket. I'm gonna make it if I have to, because if that video part had such an effect on my life.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember being like alone in my room, just burning through Video Gangs over and over, and being like, I couldn't turn it off.
Exactly. Yeah, it was so dope. And then yeah, just like after that, I was just forums, the only thing that's sick to me. So yeah, I just only watch forum movies.
That's the fucking best, dude. But yeah, so I just had on the podcast Chris Duffasy, and Duff's part with Devin in Video Gangs, his back seven off of that little bump. Do you off that big step down? I don't know. Duff has a back seven in his part. Super sick, if you remember.
Yeah. I haven't watched it for a while, but I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
Anyways, he does this front side spin off that same bump, and there's some rocks in the landing. He breaks his elbow. I was like, well, in case you know the back seven, I thought I would share the insight, but no stress. Oh man, Larry, when he tries to front board around that sea kink rail and then he catches and he's like, pretty dope, huh? I would say that like that line over and over, like anytime anyone would fall, I'd be like, pretty dope, huh? Like,
and it's funny, I've met I've met everybody on the forum team that I looked up to back then, except him. I've never met him. I have a signed shirt that the forum team managers got me, but I've still never met him.
Oh, he is beyond expectation. I did a few trips with him when I was on DC, and actually him and me became really tight. He kind of took the older brother figure in my life when I was going through some shit, and like he like calling me all the time to make sure I was good. Like, I don't know, he was just, yeah, he's next level in my books, as like, because I idolized him growing up, and then exactly. I met him and he like exceeded my expectations with how awesome he was.
That's so sick. That's so sick. Anytime, because it could go both ways. Like you look up to someone, it could either be like the biggest bummer or like letdown or whatever, or they could be like him. And I don't know, it's so sick if someone exceeds your expectations, I think.
I mean, now you're kind of getting put in those shoes. I mean, like Larry probably filmed that part when he was 22, maybe younger actually.
Yeah.
Now you're what, 26 years old?
I just turned 25 last month.
Yeah, just turned 25, exactly. So you kind of have that same role model figure with kids. And I mean, you setting aside some time at the Snow Dome every once in a while to give somebody a high five or some knuckles, especially with how much cred you probably have at that local hill. It's like changes somebody's life almost.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I'm 100% sure. And this has been happening a lot more. Like a lot more people have been coming up to me asking for autographs and photos together lately. So yeah, I agree. I'm probably starting to become that person for them, which is really sick, I think.
Oh, it's amazing and well-deserved. I mean, your last little segment that you filmed for X Games there was beyond sick. I mean, some of your tricks that you did in that were just mind-blowing. I mean, I want to dive into like the whole X Games thing, but the one trick that stood out to me more than any trick, which I thought maybe got overlooked, especially how well you did it, was the back tail pop-in. Like back tail, and then you pop in the other way into the transition. That's the other way, but like the way you get into the wall and everything, that was my favorite clip in the whole thing for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, it might have been one of my favorites also, especially because I had tried it the year before in a different spot, and it wasn't working out. And I was I was like, fuck, like kind of want to do like new stuff people don't really see very often for X Games. So
No one's ever done that. I've never seen that
yeah.
clip in my life, other than like people doing that maybe, excuse me, in the park or something like that. But I've never seen anyone film that in a street clip, like backtail popping the other way into the bank.
Right.
Maybe somebody's listening to this right now and they're like, Jake O.E. did that or whatever. I don't know. To me, when you did that shit, I was like, that is what I'm looking for in a video part.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, epic part, dude. So what was it like to film for X Games? How did you get the call? How did that all come together?
So it went back a little further. I had wanted to do it for a long time, but I never really felt like I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to be 100% ready for it. It's a big thing, you know. I want to do well. So I felt like for this year I was ready for it. I talked to Frankie Chapin, who was the Burton global team manager at the time at Burton, and I told him I really wanted to do it. And he's like, yeah, like let's see what happens. I know some people over there. Let's talk to them. He talked to them, and they hit me up in September. They sent me an email like you're invited, you can do it. And I probably didn't even finish watching the email. I wrote him back like, yes, I'm doing it 100%. Like I'm in whatever way this is, I'm doing it. So yeah, that was September, and in November I started filming for it.
I mean, for me, I've never been a big advocate of X Games, Do Tour, Olympics, just because of like who I surrounded myself in with Whistler. But I have to say, the X Games real snow, when they started doing the real thing and the real backcountry, that's what I dedicated my life to. So I can relate, and I liked that when they started doing that. And they picked good people like LeWiff, etc., Frank April, whoever.
Right.
Every year they had a few dudes that obviously are going to send their life and do a backside rodeo onto the rail or whatever. But they would always pick a handful of guys that were good street rail riders. But I thought for them picking you, I remember them picking your name and thinking, holy shit, they gave this guy a shot and he is so well, like you deserve it. Like, because at that time, I mean, a lot of times they would pick people, it'd be like the top big dog pros, and that's it. Like the top 10 rail riders can be in this, like that are in the American scene. And I kind of thought that you were an underdog, not in the sense that you weren't as talented enough, but you didn't have that global Burton exposure. And I was like, this is perfect for this kid. He's going to crush it. And I thought you did such a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I felt exactly like that. That's exactly also why I really wanted to do it, because I knew I was kind of like being the underdog going into it also. I just figured like I could put out another 10 video parts and it won't get any shine, or I try my best at this and see what happens. So that's what I did.
You, like you said, you watched The Resistance and those foreign movies. At a young age, what you looked up to clearly was people that were filming progressive video parts.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, for you to get the chance to film for something like X Games Real Snow Street or whatever, of course you're going to take that opportunity, as that's been like your whole childhood dream, is to show the masses that you can ride, I don't know, to show them your way of snowboarding.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of like competing, to be honest. Like most film dudes don't like competing. I think it's kind of sick sometimes. I don't know. It puts some like motivation behind like getting your tricks, you know.
I mean,
sometimes it could be easy. Like you're trying a trick and you're like, you know, if it doesn't work, whatever. But for something like this, like you got to make it happen somehow. So it's kind of sick.
I can imagine on some of those spots, you know, it's like, people who don't film video parts don't understand how much goes into them. I mean, whether, you know, for example, some of the spots you're hitting are with like winches and shit like that. Like your winch speed's all over the place. The in run's like bulletproof weird ice, but then where you started shoveling is good snow. The landing, you didn't find enough snow to put in the landing. There's a weird piece of metal or like, you know, something in the landing that you know you can't go left or right. And like ollieing onto all those roofs and stuff, it's not like the snow is just set up perfectly up there. Like if snow moves off of the metal thing and that's right where you have to take off, it's like there's so much more than what meets the eye. And I feel like viewers, unless you've actually ever been the person filming ham in the streets, you don't understand of how many variables there are when you're filming something.
Right. Yeah, that's super true. Especially because the winter this year, like it was so bad. It was so bad. It just rained and rained and rained. So yeah, it was definitely scrape season for us. There was barely any snow sometimes. Like we were just making like little patches of snow just to get it something done. It was crazy.
I mean, that translates in the footage too, because you could see some spots. To me, I thought they were like perfect spots, and then some you're like, well, there is no snow, and we do have to have a certain amount of this to meet expectations to at least try and win.
Yeah.
Like that one back 5-0 front three where you guys like fully build a backcountry jump like on that thing. I'm like, they probably needed to get a clip so bad that they're like, fuck it, let's just build a jump right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of sick. Like,
No.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
No, that was sick, dude. You got to get it done. And like you said, you put that pressure on yourself to film something as, and you want to win, like you said. You know what I mean? Like to me, I don't have that in me at all, and that's probably one of my faults. I don't have a competitive nature at all. But I mean, in order to be the best, you kind of need that. You know what I mean? In order to film the best shit, and sometimes it takes me to ride with somebody who is competitive and then they push me in areas to be better. You know, if I ride with like, you can say that they're not, but they are. You know, you ride with like Jake Kuzik, he's kind of competitive in a way. He's not doesn't come out with like he wants to beat you, but like he wants to film dope shit, and he wants for his friends to be inspired by his by how talented he can be, as well as any other of like the top dogs, like Lewif, anybody. It keeps, and when I don't get to ride with those people for a while, it's like I can find myself like not pushing myself. I've always been really fortunate to be riding with people who are, you know, do have a competitive nature, whether it's like E-Man or Jeeves, and it really pushes you. I'm curious to know if you're riding in the snow dome. I feel like a way people get better is riding with people that are a lot better than them. Who are you riding in the snow dome with, and where do you find this motivation to, like, if you're the best, like who are you riding with that pushes you?
Most of the time I'm actually riding alone.
That's
funny enough.
I love your mental game's crazy.
Even like filming the real snow, most of the time I was alone. I was just me and the filmer. That's it. Like there was no one. It was just me and the filmer most of the time. And even in the indoor, most of my friends go to school, work a job, and they snowboard like maybe two, 3 times a week at most. But I'm there all the time. So yeah, it like makes you get used. Like if you want to snowboard at that place, like you're gonna have to snowboard alone. So I always grew up riding alone. I don't really like snowboarding when it's super busy in there. I feel like everybody's watching me. So yeah, I kind of enjoy it actually, to be honest.
So do you listen to music when you snowboard, or is it like silence?
No, there's music playing in there, but no, I don't snowboard with music on. It's just me and myself.
That also gets me, because I am so the opposite of you. It's crazy. Like I have to be riding with my homies to get inspired to do anything. Like if I'm with my homies and I'm having to I will send it. But the fact that you can just muster up these tricks that you film, and you don't even need to be riding with your homies and no music, you just do it. You're a madman.
But of course I like riding with my friends way more, of course. But they're just not always there, and they just can't always be there. You know, they go through universities, they go through work and everything, like girlfriends, whatever. So I never really had any of that. I never had any distractions. I always wanted to snowboard. So if that's all you want to do, like there are some things you're gonna have to do, which are maybe a bit unfortunate, and riding alone all the time is one of them. But at this point, I'm just super used to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least some people right now are being like, well, at least you're boarding, you know. I'd rather board alone than not be boarding at all.
Exactly, that's the point. Like if you want to snowboard there all the time, you're going to be alone, because not everybody's going to be this motivated to snowboard 5 times a week and do absolutely nothing else, you know.
And headphones. Did you ride with headphones? Because a lot of people like riding with music. I love them. You know, I've been riding with headphones. If I forget my headphones, I'm like, do I go down? Like, you know, I basically put all of my favorite snowboard music, that's all from like the 90s and early 2000s, in my headphones, mixed with like new rap and some like fast rock and roll.
Right.
Or punk or anything like that, and it just gets me fired up. You know what I mean? I'm at the top and I'm like, oh, of course I'm gonna do this. Like, what Danny Cass's song came on, or Travis Kennedy's, like the Youngblood song, the Dead Kennedys from the video games, the Youngblood section, where it's like Travis Kennedy, Pat Moore and stuff. Like that song, and I forget. Anyways, that song fires me up. So did you ever listen to music and then you were like, I can't do this, or you just never gave it a shot?
I tried, and I would get so like into the zone of the music, I would just fall. Like I would just like stop, be like not concentrated, just listening to the song and not like thinking about the trick I'm doing. And I would just like not do anything and just crash super hard. And I'll be like, fuck, like I can't snowboard with music on. I can't do it.
I figured you out. I figured you out better than you figured yourself out on this own podcast, because you're so you know, your attention to detail and your focus level is so high that if you're listening to music, you give all your attention to the music. If you're snowboarding, you give all your attention to the snowboarding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really zoom in and concentrate at the task at hand.
Yeah.
And that is dude, write a book.
Yeah. And the thing is that the indoor park is really hectic. You know, it's not like you're taking like 20 turns between every feature. Like it's super quick. So you have to kind of be like on point, because otherwise like sometimes my friends from like Sweden or whatever come over and they'll like crash super hard first day because they're not used to it being that tight. Like everything's super close together.
Yeah, you got to do like the cab over 270 and then like stop, and then hit the next thing.
No, I'm just blasting. I'm going straight the whole time.
Well, you're used to it. You have like 20 years of experience. I'd be with your Swedish friends over there in a cast. And is it pretty icy? Do they groom? How do they get the snow quality?
They groom every night and they refresh the snow every sometimes twice a year, sometimes once a year. So they'll just drive all the snow outside and then spray fresh snow. But yeah, it gets pretty icy in there because they run like Europe Cup slalom competitions for skiers in there on a different slope, and the FIS regulations, like there are rules about how firm the snow needs to be. So it's pretty cold in there. In other indoors, it's not that cold. The one I ride's really cold, and that's all because of the like competition rules.
Out of curiosity, do you know how much a building like that costs?
No, I have no idea. I wonder. I really do wonder. I'm sure it's expensive.
So you've done quite a bit of traveling. You've been to Japan. You've been all over the world filming. I mean, have you been to Montreal, Canada?
I have, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You filmed quite a few video parts over the last few years. Where's your favorite place to snowboard? Is it the Dome, or would you rather go cruise Japan, or would you rather be, where's your favorite place to board?
I would say my favorite places are outside, but I don't like going like to glacier resorts. I don't like sitting in a gondola for an hour to show up at a icy, windy park at the top. I like small little hills. Like I went to Highland and Trollhaugen. That's exactly like the way I want to snowboard if I'm riding resort parks.
I've never been to Trollhaugen. I really want to go, and Highland. That's kind of been like a dream of mine. I think that those places breed in those places, including the Dome. Like you're the first of the kind from the Dome, one of a kind, and it just breeds such incredibly skilled snowboarders because you get so many laps.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and Scandinavia's got a couple of those like small, super tiny little hills with a super quick T-bar, and yeah, those are the nicest places to go for me, at least.
What about packing up all your shit right now? You leave the Dome behind, you move to Whistler, and you just ride backcountry for the rest of your life.
I don't know. Whistler seems pretty dope. Like you guys got it all, at least. Like you guys right rails, jumps, backcountry, everything. It seems like all the ATVs come from Whistler, so that's pretty sick.
Would you like? Do you like riding? Is your favorite type of riding filming in the streets, riding at the dome, riding resorts, or riding POW?
Probably riding street.
Actually being like filming in the streets.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
Sick. And
If
like,
if I could film the whole year, so summer included, I would try to film 2 or 3 video parts a year.
that's incredible. See, to me, I would get so burnt out, but that's epic. As you hear this, Burton, this guy needs a raise. You need an all year round travel budget, dude. Speaking of Burton, how long have you been with Burton? I mean, Forum is obviously your childhood dream. Then Burton comes to you. At the time, did Burton own Forum still? Did you have the option between the two?
Yeah, so I wrote for Forum until they went down. And then I just made the transfer straight into Burton because the Forum and Burton offices in Innsbruck are in the same building. So I knew most of the Burton people working there. Even my Burton European manager went to, Forum European manager went to Burton. So the transfer for me was super easy. And I don't know, those were the people I knew. Those were the people I wanted to work with. And I just saw like more of a future at that company for myself, and it's been chill ever since. So that's since 2012, I think, or 14. I'm not sure.
And so that would have been when like Zach Hale was still part of them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you? So you must have been working your ass off to get an opportunity to film for those old Burton movies. You know what I mean? Like, did that opportunity ever present itself, or were you just kind of like waiting in the back, like, get me on a trip?
So around that time, I wasn't like trying to get on a trip with them because I just started filming street then. So I don't know, that wasn't like my ambition at the time, but now, like for last year, for the One World, definitely, yeah, 100%.
And that's, you said it at the beginning of the podcast, and I couldn't agree more. You mentioned something along the lines of, if you had been given that opportunity to film for X Games years previous, you don't know if you would have been ready yet. I felt like the same way, not to, they're different, but like with backcountry, I felt like if I had been given the opportunity too young to go out there and film backcountry, it would have just been not a good time. Like, I wasn't ready yet. So there's something to say when you get the opportunity now at 24, now 25, to film for Burton and film for this project, that you're ready for it, and you know that you can provide quality clips that will help the movie.
Exactly, yeah, because especially for a European writer, it's a big deal getting into those kind of situations, like let's say a Burton movie, an X Games part, any of this stuff. Like it's big for us. So if I do it, I want to do it well, and I think I need to feel like I'm ready for it.
I think you've been ready for it for years. I watched all your video parts before we jumped on the phone here. I think you've been filming banging video parts for at least 4 years. If you go back before that, you just got the young kid style. You could totally see you weren't ready, but 3-4 years ago, you were still ready. You were like lacing up clips.
Thank you.
You've been filming in the streets for a long time, and a lot of those videos, I've never even seen, and I would say that I watch a lot more snowboard videos than most. So I think what you said there about European riders, not Burton riders, it's like, if you get that opportunity to film for the biggest global / American project, that's a huge, I don't want to say privilege, because it's not a privilege. It's a huge honor, I guess, or I don't even know if it's honor is the right word either. Because it's like, I feel like a lot of the times there's been, a lot of people outside of the States, because the States is where all the money kind of comes from. You get the short end of the stick, even though people in the, especially European riders, are so talented. I mean, Canadians too, but I've definitely rode at COC Camp Champions for a long time. And when Alec was young and he started coming here with all of his friends for the first time, I was just like, I don't even think any of them even film anymore. Like this kid named Luda was so sick. He films
Yeah.
like so many European riders, but you can just see there, and a lot of them are on Burton, but they never get that opportunity. So I'm hyped
Right.
that you got this opportunity. I mean, your skills definitely show that it's well deserved, but there's definitely a lot that don't get that opportunity.
Right, that's true. And yeah, I don't know, just I've just been working double as hard, I guess. So
I
that's
mean, equally. I mean, no, sorry, equally. No, I have not been working twice as hard. I have not been in the snow dome 7 days a week. Well, okay, if you go to the dome, what kind of hours do you go there for? Like a skate shift? You're there for like half hour, an hour, or do you go there like full day and you're eating lunches there?
it kind of depends how busy it is. So right now there's school holidays and it gets super packed. So I was there at like 9:30 this morning and I rode until around 12. So that's only 2.5 hours. But sometimes I'll be there from the morning till almost closing time. So I'll be there for 10 hours, 8 hours. Yeah, I'll be there the whole day.
What's the longest shift you've ever put in?
I've definitely gone a couple times, like opening doors, closing doors, like whole day.
No way. Back to back? Back to back 10-hour shifts. Burton, this kid's going overtime.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
That is epic. Oh my man, I don't think that I've ever put in. Maybe like when I was a kid, I put some 10-hour shifts in, but like eventually I would just be like, I don't know, I would get hurt.
Yeah.
Eventually I'd try the back 270, slip out and smack my tailbone, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going home. Like you're putting 12-hour shifts in back-to-back days, and are you bailing at all, or do you just lace all day long?
I don't know. Sometimes I'll bail, but I'm usually fine. Like, yeah, I got to knock on wood, but I don't usually crash too hard in there. Luckily, sometimes I'll take a gnarly slam. Like once a year, I'll show up at the hospital with a concussion again. But
what's the trick that you learned? You went boarding this morning, you said. Did you learn a new trick? Did you do what's the morning looking like for you?
I didn't learn any new tricks today. No.
Kind of like back lip slide, nose press day, or are you doing your like signature moves like half cab, nose press, revert? And
No, I was doing like all the 270s on today, I think. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So going into the season, are you prepared to film your best video part yet?
I always try to, for sure. I don't know if I want to film a video part actually. We'll see. Maybe if Burton has a plan or something, but I don't know. I feel like they're maybe not as worth it anymore these days. I feel like I would almost rather just film 30 clips and put them on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I know, right? I agree with you, but I disagree because
Me
maybe
too.
I'm the old guy who's holding on to video parts and magazines being around, but at the same time, nothing lasts forever. So maybe I just need to let go of my old ways of being like, people need to film video parts and like magazines and stuff. Because I mean, nothing does last forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Things change, and now the world is not going to get rid of their phone. It's the digital age. And
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's worth just putting your clips up on the internet if that makes your brands happier. And that,
Yeah, I mean,
then sure. But I think until I die, I'm going to be a big advocate for video and brands investing in like making movies like this Burton One World project and stuff.
100%. I even agree and disagree with myself. If it was worth it filming like a video part, I would be doing it all the time. But if you can just put out one clip on Instagram and it gets as many views as a whole like full movie for film for a whole year, then like why would you not? You know, like
I mean, I guess you would
put it all out.
If the only reason you wouldn't is so that just for like the credibility, if you're involved in like a movie and you're surrounded by other snowboarders and a filmmaker like the guy you've been working with, I forget his name, who did your X Games project,
Stefano.
Yeah, I really liked his lens work on some of those shots were sick. It's like if you work with a good filmmaker who knows how to put together a project well, you kind of, unless you're like the king of marketing yourself, but like I feel like there's a way that like people like Hayden Wrench and Jake Price, who works at Vans and stuff like that, can like make riders look a certain way. And when you're in a
Oh
product
yeah.
like that, it just like it looks so much better for your clips to be in that light rather than posted on the Instagram. Because I just feel like when stuff goes on Instagram now, I'm so like I follow all the best skateboarders or skaters that I like and all the best snowboarders and some surfing. And just one scroll is like Travis Rice doing the craziest gap ever. And then,
Yeah.
Sage Kotzenberg at wherever doing like a back 12 Taipan. And then the next one's Red Gerard and the next one's you. And the next one's Chris Grenier and the next one's Derek Malin. And everyone's putting their best shit on it. And
Yeah.
eventually I feel like you become kind of numb to how good you should be so grateful to be scrolling through your phone and seeing all of that amazing content.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And but at the same time, like if it was for like a big production, I'd be super down to film a full part for them. But if it's not, then I'll just put it on the Instagram. Like if it's like a big project, if it's a Burton movie, say like a Vans movie, like Landline or like any of those type of movies with a big distribution behind them, it's worth it. But if it's not, then
have you got the opportunity to watch that new movie Toonies that came out?
yeah, that was incredible. It was amazing.
See, that movie's like you could argue is kind of like a smaller scale movie, and I think that has already done so much for everyone who's in that movie. I feel like that put like Mammoth's already had such a good buzz for a long time, and same with Seb. Like, I think this just put them all on the map. And it was a smaller project, but I guarantee you that their brands are all thinking about like, okay, like we need to be moving in these guys. That they're our next pros coming on.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope for them. I mean, they fully deserve it. They've been killing it since I don't know how long. But
yeah, they've been crushing it for a long time. So are you on the Burton AM team or the Burton Global team, or what's Burton has so many different levels. I've always been confused. Where are you on the Burton scale?
So I go through European managers, but all the European writers kind of do. So even the ones who are in the global team, like say like Anna Gasser, for example.
Whatever.
Yeah, they go through them. So I guess I'm like international AM or something.
Dude, so I think that if you go out there and film a band, like because your stuff came out, this is my advice to you. I think you have a lot of traction right now, and a lot of people love watching you snowboard. You have good style, your kits are good, you ride good spots, and you do shit fucking proper. Yeah, just film another video part, keep the traction going. I can't. Who's Burton's next rail kid? You know what I mean? And Burton's been lacking in that department for a while. Like they had Ethan and Zach for a while, and Jeremy, and then that dissipated. And I feel like that's a huge void that Burton's missing. Their backcountry guys are insane. They have
for sure
Red Gerard and freaking Ben Ferg, Sollers, Mikey, whoever, like top dogs, Mickle.
Right.
And then they have the legends on the team, and then they have the most insane contest rider. I mean, Mark McMorris is my favorite contest rider to watch, without a doubt.
Right.
And then their rail team, to me, is like, Ethan's still on. I'm assuming he's filmed a few clips for the movie. He's sick.
He has,
but like, you could be the dude.
Yeah, I was supposed to film for the One World in April. So I was like coming out of X Games. Then I went on this tour with Red Bull. Then after that, I was supposed to film for Burton the all of April. But obviously, like everything got canceled. Even for them, everything got canceled. Like for Ethan and all those dudes. So you don't have any clips coming out in the new movie? No, it's not in the movie. No.
Devastating.
We did film. I did film some stuff. No one's seen yet from last year from Finland. A bunch of stuff. I think it's going like. I think they're releasing a bunch of like side little edits and stuff.
Dude, give it to me. All airtime exclusive footage. 2,500 followers.
I love it. I'm down.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm. Okay, sick. You're down. That's dope. No, I'm kidding. Let's get that into the masses, and then I'll just tag it for free, like the little leech I am.
It's all good.
No, but seriously, I think that should be your plan of attack. Film another banging video part, and I can't see how Burton's not going to look at you as if like you're the next dude. Like,
Hope so, yeah.
I mean, I don't know anyone who works. I think I kind of know Frankie. We went to Baldface together last year.
He doesn't work there anymore.
All right, so I don't know anyone who works at Burton. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put a good word in for you if I'm ever at a Burton sales meeting or something. And I stumble upon being at some pretty weird meetings from time to time.
Yeah. Actually, we've been like all meeting up lately on Zoom calls. So we've been like having corporate meetings, and I've been meeting like all the people over at Burton, even over at the States. So I feel like they know me now. They know about my X Games medal and everything. So I don't know.
Congratulations on that too. Well deserved. What are you guys talking about on these Zoom calls? Like what can you fill us in? Is Burton gonna come out with like what's Burton up to these days?
It was actually mostly about like the gear and stuff. Like we're just giving feedback on what we like on gear, what we think they should change, what we think should be cool for them, like trends. And they really do listen to us though. That's really sick. Like they don't have to listen to me. Like they'll sell, but they do listen to me. So
no, they won't. That's the thing, is they'll sell for a few years, but if they don't stay current, eventually they'll fall behind. And that's exactly right. Like you said, they listen, and that's good. If you're not, because you are what's making the brand cool. Like it's like you as a rail rider are taking anyone who likes Burton, who loves Burton, and there's lots of kids who are just obsessed with Burton. That's like been a thing since the beginning of time. Are like, okay, but I ride rails, so who's my kid that I'm going to be obsessed with? That's you. So it's like you are affecting what's going on in Burton, whether you like it or not. And for them to be like, this is what's cool in the streets, because you're their whole street kind of guy.
Yeah,
they need to take that into consideration. And the
right,
fact that you don't have like whack hits and stuff like that, and like, is dope.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you draw your inspiration from? Who are some riders right now that you look up to?
I mean, I've always been a big Kuzik fan, always. I know you hang out a bunch with him. He's definitely big inspiration, at least for like spot selection and like just perfecting your tricks. Like that's the standard now for me also. I just want to do it to the best I can, and otherwise it's not good enough. Other than that, I don't know.
I love
Louis, Jad, like those dudes for sure.
What about Danimals?
Yeah, I fucking love watching him snowboard. Like
I just had to plug him because I feel like sometimes like just the way he snowboards is like that's exactly. I mean you also mentioned Jake, Louis, and Jed in there, and I mean I just threw Dan in because to me like those dudes. And then you throw Dan in there. It's like the perfect mix of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That I love.
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, so many others too. It's crazy because I feel like most people that are riding rails these days are drawing inspiration from the same kind of things, whether it's like skate and style and stuff. And I think that there's a lot of good that's happening in snowboarding right now. Like the video part stuff that's coming out right now, there's like a new standard of kind of like what is sick and what isn't, with spots and trick selection and kits and outerwear and filming and everything and taste in general. And I just like what snowboarding looks like in a lot of different platforms right now.
Right. Yeah, it's doing good, I think. All the videos that have come out lately have been super sick, and yeah, people are killing it. But of course, like I just mentioned those names, but there's definitely a lot more riders that I think are super sick.
Yeah, name one of them.
Put me on the spot.
No. Okay, I want to hear okay, so who's some jumpers and backcountry dudes that you're hyped on?
You mentioned him before, Alec Ostrang. Super.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the man. I don't know who else.
That was a good pick. Alec, dude, just like so talented. I've always thought he was like so ridiculously talented, but when I did the podcast with Stale, and Stale reiterated how talented he was and how like he could just do anything.
Right.
I was like, dude, you're right. Because I would watch him at COC. He would always come up, and I'd just be like, yes, so much better than everybody else. It's just like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
For
riding
sure.
the quarter pipe and just like then going off the jump and then like everything. It was like, I was like, wow, I would do anything to be able to open up that folder in my head, like
Right.
infinite possibilities.
For sure. And actually, I just watched the new Burton One World movie, and like Rat's clips are so amazing. Like it's so nice to watch him ride backcountry. It's so sick. Like that's something that I wish I could do.
Well, you can, dude. I mean, if you are as good, I mean, dude, you don't get to where you're at without like you're like a level of mastery without being able to figure stuff out. So if you put the time in and spent some time riding POW in the mountains, dude, I think that would. I always love to see someone who's as talented as yourself, like incredible rail rider, just have a few backcountry clips, like Taxwood
Yeah,
styles, just like goes ham in the streets, but then buckles up and does like a huge back seven in the backcountry. Like,
it's so sick. I love
and
it. It's so dope.
look at our boy Larry, dude. That mix, the park jumps. I mean, I don't think he had any backcountry in that part, but like in video games, boom,
Yeah,
rail riding, jumping, even just like this, he had a back one melon in there. Just that fires me up.
so sick.
When are we going
I'm
to see
super
some
down.
your back, some street? Sorry, when are we going to see some jumping clips of you?
I don't know. Actually, I grew up mostly riding jumps. I was never really much of a rail rider growing up. I was actually doing like Dutch champs, slope style and stuff, like big air competitions. So yeah, I actually mostly grew up riding jumps. But I still do. Like I actually really like jumping. I just never really film much on it. I don't know why.
I mean, you don't get around to it because when I asked you what's your favorite thing in the world to ride, you were like, dude, if I had anywhere I could be, it would be year round filming in the streets.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And
But yeah,
that's
I'd be down if actually go film some jumps soon. Maybe the glaciers around Austria are opening back up. I just came back from Hintertux, and I'm probably going back out there soon. I should probably start filming some jumps actually.
you're going back to Hintertux. What is it called?
No, I just came from there. I'm going to Stubai. That's opening in 2 weeks.
Is
Like the official opening.
is Stubai the same as Dubai, or are those different places?
No, those are different places.
Okay.
Yeah, Stubai is in Austria.
Oh,
Dubai is.
That'd be sick if you're heading to Dubai. I've always wanted to go there.
I've been. It's pretty sick. I went to
What?
the.
Do you
Yeah.
see like French Montana down there or anything?
No, I didn't see it.
What's it like down there?
It was crazy. It was like 40 degrees Celsius outside, and then you just walking around there with your snowboard clothes on, and you walk into the freezer. I don't know. It's crazy. It's in the middle.
They have a snow dome there.
Yeah. You didn't know? Yeah, they
No.
have one in the middle of the fucking desert.
What?
Desert, in the middle of the
Oh.
desert. Yeah.
All right, I'm making a trip proposal to a magazine. Take us to the snow dome in Dubai.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's super like weird situation. But the general manager over there was a Dutch guy, so he invited me to come over. So that's why I went.
Oh no way! Did he pay for it?
I think he got me like he got the accommodation and lift passes and everything for me.
Oh, there you go. What's accommodation? Like when I think of Dubai, I just think of money and like a really nice place. Or are you
Right.
staying at like some busted hotel?
No. We were staying at a nice place, but that place is like big differences also. Like you see all the nice like expensive cars and gold everywhere, but there's a lot of poverty there. Like people are
Oh.
really, really, really poor down there also.
Oh,
They
wow.
just kind of hide them.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. And then no middle class there either, I bet. It's just like you're either super poor or you're pretty rich, and then the middle class is pretty small.
Yeah, there's just like Lambos driving through the slums and shit. It's crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's bad.
Was the park there though good though? Was the snow dome down there like up to par? Would you say it's like one of the better domes or like not so sick on the dome scale?
The dome scale was good. The park scale they just had like a small little setup, couple of rails, couple small jumps, but yeah, no like serious indoor park like the one I ride, for example.
So, best snow dome you've ever been to is where? Where do you go to get the best snow park vibe?
The one I ride all the time, Snow Along Graph, which is
No.
10 minutes from my house.
Do you ever think that, after snowboarding, you might like take it over or something?
Nah, actually, nah. It's too. I think once I'm done snowboarding, I don't know if I want a job in snowboarding. To be honest, it
What
might be time for something new after that.
What are you gonna do? Like, how much longer do you think you're gonna give to being like full-time rail? Do you want to film street stuff for the next like 10 years? This is the only thing you're focused on, or do you feel like I'll do it for a few more years and then, I'm gonna switch it up?
No, I'll probably stick to riding rails. I think so.
And then after that, though, eventually, inevitably, snowboarding will end. And I mean, yes, you ride for Red Bull, so we don't even know how much money they're paying you, but I mean, hopefully a lot. What are you going to do for work after snowboard?
Definitely not retired. That's for sure. I'm not getting paid that kind of money.
Well, you should, dude.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe start some sort of business on my own, because I never really went to school much. I finished high school, graduated high school, but after that, all my focus has always been 100% on snowboarding. So yeah, I never had any like job education after that.
What other interests do you have outside of snowboarding?
I'd be down for like architecture. I could see myself do like an architecture education.
Okay, the fact that you said architecture makes me think that like, you're decent at school. Because you wouldn't just be like, yeah, I'm going to be an architecture, and you don't even know what, 5 times
No,
5 is. You're a smart dude. Yes. Dude, be an architect, dude. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, I'm down. I think that's super interesting. Like I read about it sometimes, and
Do you have any favorite buildings from around the world? Like, or do you have any like, a lot of people who are nerdy on architecture, like, ooh, I really like the way that place was built?
Not really necessarily a favorite building, but there's this architecture office. It's called Wonderwall, and they do like big, really big buildings, but like for exclusive brands. So say like they would design an entire Louis Vuitton store somewhere in a metropolitan city, and those buildings are always super sick. So I would say he's my favorite.
Have you seen the building built in Winnipeg, Manitoba? Obviously not, but there's a building built in my hometown right now. It cost $1 billion.
Oh, shit.
And it's so sick. It's like, whoever built it, I'm like, holy shit, you're the best architect ever. That's wild. Crazy. Because no one cares, because no one who's listening to the podcast can even understand unless you know what it looks like. But if you're bored, go and Google Winnipeg new building. It's got to pop up, because we haven't had a new building in thousands of years. Our whole city just seems like it's falling apart. How is the area you live in? Is it rough, or do you live in like a nice peaceful neighborhood, or are you going outside right now and people are doing, needles and stuff?
No, actually, there was a shooting about 2 months ago, like just in the street across here. And yeah, it's like literally a stone throw away. There was a shooting, but yeah, I live in a super like white neighborhood, pleppy, like there's nothing going on here. But because we're so close to the borders, there's a lot of drug trafficking here. So this area where I live is the main, like one of the biggest drug hotspots in all of Europe, actually. So yeah, there's a lot of like drug violence around this area,
which is always terrifying. It's not my favorite to be around.
Right, exactly. But they mostly like hurt each other. They don't really mess with.
I mean, as every good drug dealer, you don't need to mess with other people if you're slanging drugs. You don't need to bring any heat on yourself.
Exactly.
It's just beating up. Whoa, fuck you, snowboarder guy! I'm gonna break your leg. He's got like a big bag of blow on him. This is going to jail. Bad call.
Right.
So-
But no, like where I grew up, it's pretty chill. There's never anything going on here.
Are you
A lot
living
of
with?
it's like trespassing, this kind of minor stuff, but yeah, people aren't getting like shot here every day. That's not happening.
That's what we want to hear for the whole planet. We just don't want any more shootings. Are you pro gun or anti gun? Do you think people should be able to carry assault rifles around and shotguns, or you know?
Well, for hair, I'm super anti-gun. Obviously, like I'm European. We don't really do guns, but I can kind of understand why some Americans are like kind of pro-gun, because the guns are already there, so you can't really take them away anymore.
There's too many.
There's too many. Like
I feel like I don't think that anybody needs a gun that can, like, have like an extended clip or something,
Right.
where you have like a long amount of ammunition. But
yeah,
a handgun or a shotgun, I'm all for it for sure. You know what I mean?
yeah. I do think I do think they should make it maybe a little bit harder to get one. Like you shouldn't just be able to walk into a Walmart and buy one. Like that's crazy.
It's insane. I mean, I don't know this factually, but I've heard it's easier to buy a gun at Walmart than it is to buy lottery tickets or buy cigarettes. It's like,
Yeah.
but you can go buy a gun, which kills somebody instantly, easily, but
Right.
you can't go buy cigarettes that kill you over 40 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, they need to figure their stuff out. That's for sure.
And do you smoke cigarettes? I'm just asking because I feel like so many Europeans still smoke cigarettes.
No, I don't. No, I've never smoked, and smoking has been like smoking weed even has been legal for all my life. There's been coffee shops around me my whole life, and I've
No
never
way.
smoked. Never smoked ever.
Ever.
Ever. Yeah.
Because do your parents not, like, were they like really strict on that, or you just had zero interest?
No, I just had zero interest. My parents aren't not strict people at all, like in anything. Yeah, I've just never had any interest. Just never even tried. Like all my friends do it. They've gotten into it since a young age, and I could have easily like gone down that path with them, but yeah, just never did.
You never got baked once and ordered like pizza and just like watched a funny
No.
movie? No
No,
way.
never.
I love it. You don't need it. I do. And if you smoked now, I'd want to punch you, because I mean, you can't. There's nothing worse than someone who hasn't smoked. Like, you're 25 now, and you've never got baked your whole life. Like, there's no point of getting baked now.
And starting now, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Should have done it back then.
Yeah,
now it's like, yeah.
There's nothing worse than your friend who's like, you're like, yo, my friend Jeff, he's never partied in his life. And he's like, then you're 30 and they're like, I think I'm going to start drinking. You're like, don't do it.
Yeah, just don't even begin.
What about beers? You have beers, or like you're not, no alcohol either, 100% focus? Or do you
No,
like,
I drink. Yeah, I drink. Yeah, the laws here are pretty chill. I don't know.
you go out to like music festivals and stuff out there? Is there like, isn't there,
Yeah,
like,
that's a big thing here, but I've never gone to one ever.
I've heard of them. I've never been to any European music festivals. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like the last time I saw Heldor, he was telling me about one. I don't know if he ended up going to one, and I was intrigued.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure he goes to a bunch of them. Yeah, I've never gone. Yeah.
That may or may not be true. We don't know. So what's the rest of your looking like? Are you going to be bored? You're going to go right into the season, which you are. No, you know what? That sucks to even say. You're already in your season. Like, so when it starts snowing outside, you're still not like, oh, it's the season. You're like, I got my dome. So
Yeah.
you're riding all the time.
Yeah.
So when it snows, do you still ride at the dome, or do you go to your local ski resort that's outside?
There's no ski resorts here. The Netherlands is super flat. There's no hills here. It's all biking here.
Well, see, I didn't know that. That's the reason why we had you on the podcast. Completely flat. That's like where I grew up.
Completely flat. Yeah. Yeah. If I go outside, the closest I would go snowboard outside would be the Austrian Alps, which is a 7-hour drive.
7 hours?
Yeah.
Burton, you got to get this kid closer to the mountains. Although your favorite place to ride, actually, you said your favorite place to ride is the streets.
Yeah. So yeah, I mostly just fly to Finland all the time, actually.
Yeah, Finland's got good spots because the whole forum team went there.
That's true.
They found them all. Would you feel like there's a few places in Europe that are untapped and have like really high potential for good spots?
Yeah, east. So like Poland, Czech Republic, like all these places are.
Yeah, what about like
pretty
Ukraine?
sick.
I feel like no one's ever done a trip. I mean, Ukraine would be terrifying to go, and I'm Ukrainian, but it's just not really on my bucket list. It sounds like a bad time, but I feel like there's lots of snow in lots of those places.
I don't know. I don't know anybody that's gone to Ukraine. I mean, people are going into Russia a lot more lately, but yeah, I don't think anybody's gone to Ukraine yet. I just got invited to a rail battle in Kiev, so Ukrainian capital, in December. So I'll be going there actually to snowboard, but not to ride street.
What do you mean not to ride street? You're going to a contest.
Yeah, so it's like a scaffolding drop-in man-made rail battle.
I don't understand. Like you're gonna win for sure. It's a guarantee. Like who else is gonna go? Dennis Bonus or whatever, that Russian
Yeah,
dude?
he's probably there. Yeah.
Oh wow! So you got some serious swivels coming your way.
Oh yeah.
Do you follow him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've known him for a long ass time actually. He's come stay here a couple times.
No way.
He came to ride it indoor.
He did what did he do the other day? He did like a back three on the rail and then three off, and I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before. The only one who can kind of match with that is like Cale Hill.
Right.
And do you know who Cale Hill is?
Oh yeah.
Dude, he just sent me. So he was on the last episode or 2 episodes ago. He showed me his new movie, Snowboarder's Guide to the Galaxy, and there's so many tricks that no one has ever done. It's just like to the point where I don't even know what to think. And he doesn't give a shit if he's hitting the rail from the left or the right, over the stairs, under the stairs. It's like none of that matters, and I don't care.
No, he's sick. What's that movie where he starts like, oh, I shit my pants? Is that Dope?
Maybe, yeah. There's one of the Dope movies. I don't remember him saying he shit his pants, but I actually don't know. Yeah, maybe he did.
Since then, I've been down for him.
Have you seen the Dope movies before?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We're big fans here.
Nice. I love it. I love it. There's my friend Eman and Lane and Al all. I mean, since this is a rail podcast, up the ass right now. It's just like, dude, those guys are wizards. So.
Oh yeah.
Same thing, like go ride with them. It's insanely hard to not get fired up because they're all so talented.
Right. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell from like already since that Blunt Trauma video.
Oh yeah, that edit that E-Man and Al made together with Bronco.
Yeah, that was our shit back in the day.
Dude, that would be sick.
Like one of the biggest inspirations since like the internet era, kind of like the edit era on the internet. That would be one of the biggest ones.
Dude, Blunt Trauma was when that came. I was in the park with them when they were filming that, and like watching them do the tricks on even the little flat bar at the beginning, like back to back, like switch back 5-0 front 180, and then Al goes behind him, switch back 5-0 front 180, and like back 5, and then they do all the tricks back to back.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so sick.
Yeah, wildly talented. That's a great plug right there. Blunt Trauma. If you haven't checked that out, Dope Industries, Blunt Trauma. You heard it on the podcast. Jesse said go check it out. It inspired him.
Hell yeah.
What do you have any other edits from like the internet days that were heavy, like, was like cooking with gas, your shit? Like what was your kind of go-to watching YouTube videos back in the day?
Probably the 1817 videos. Like,
oh yeah.
Or like Make Friends or Die, like any of the Riley and Jake Durham videos. That I was always super down for those, especially like Fronius and Haunted Highland. Like I would just rewatch that all the time.
Sick.
Yeah,
that's dope. I always like hearing because everyone has like their favorite little like edits that they watched all the time.
Right.
Like mine was just Sunday in the park. When I was a kid, it was just like go to transworld.com, Sunday in the park, and like Joe Carolino, who made a bunch of amazing snowboard videos. When it first came on, he was like the main dude.
Yeah.
or one of the main dudes. And yeah, he just made so many videos like MFM and Chad Tarbell and Nima and
Yeah.
Daryl and Joe Sexton when he was first coming on the scene. It was just Johnny Miller. It was just like the sickest crew. I just dreamed of going to Bear when I was a kid.
For sure. Oh, me too. Yeah, especially like when Bradshaw was filming Sundays in the Park with like snowboarding a young Jeezy music. That like, yeah, that was our shit too. We love
Yeah.
that.
The Chris Bradshaw like phase when he was hitting Sunday in the Parks and like Bear hard, like it was like I'm out there trying to film video parts and this guy's riding the park and I'd never seen anybody like ride like that in the park. Like I was just like, oh my God. Like he invented like a new way of snowboarding in the park because there wasn't like Mark Frank had his own thing, but Bradshaw had like, dude, nobody rode like Chris. Nobody's ever gonna ride like Chris. One of a kind.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's the man. And yeah, sad news to read about his wife recently. But yeah, hopefully he'll find his way back on a snowboard eventually, and we'll see some new clips.
Yeah, that was tough to read for sure. Bradshaw, shout outs to Chris. That's yeah. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's just like, yeah, dude, that's hard for anyone to deal with any of that stuff right now. And hopefully he gets over it soon because I feel like snowboarding would bring him a lot of joy and stuff.
Right.
Kind of just taking a step back, you know, maybe no headphones, not riding with anybody else, kind of, you know, your style, and just go to Bear and just go snowboarding. It would put
Right.
a smile on his face again. And I mean, Chris is somebody who, if he does anything, it's just gonna be legendary. You know, if he went
For
to
sure.
Bear and did a nose press on a down rail, people would just be like, yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he doesn't even need to try, really. He could just do anything. He could strap in and straight line down. That'll be sick.
Yes, it will be. All right. You got any plans for the future here? Plans
For the future.
What are you gonna do with your life other than be an architect? You got a girlfriend these days? Boyfriend, sorry, I should say too. I don't know. It's our first time meeting on the podcast, and this is an all-inclusive podcast, and I shouldn't have assumed that you were gonna have a girlfriend.
Right. No, I don't know. Fuck future plans. I don't know. Just keep snowboarding for hopefully another 10 years at a good level, and we'll see what happens after that. Maybe next year I'd never want to be an architect ever again. And
I'm gonna take that are you single question as a definite yes, because if you had a significant other and you didn't plug them there, they'd be devastated. All right, you heard it here, everybody. This guy's not only a wizard on the shred stick, he's also single. Hit him up.
Maybe I'm not.
I like it, dude. I got to get some things done here. Unfortunately, you know, some life stuff. But thank you so much for making time to come on the show.
No worries. Thank you for having me. It was dope, and I'm happy to be on here. That's
yeah,
sick.
dude. So just a final few questions for you before you go. 4 questions that I ask every guest. Your favorite movie?
So snowboard movie or just in general?
General.
Probably say Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, like the old one with Charlie Sheen.
Sick plug. Favorite snowboard movie? We kind of went over this, but you know, maybe you'll change your mind.
Yeah, I would say The Resistance, just because it had the biggest impact on me.
I mean, it had a big impact on everybody who's listening to this for sure.
Right.
One piece of life advice.
I don't know. I always just tell myself, like, things don't happen overnight all the time. Like, be patient, keep working towards something if you really want it. That's what I tell myself all the time. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day, so that's the advice I give myself.
I mean, if you were trying to blow up on your snowboard overnight, it never would have happened. But you know, you were patient. You achieved mastery from riding the dome and becoming the ultimate snow dome wizard. And then you got invited to X Games and, doing the Burton thing. It sucks that you weren't in the Burton project due to COVID this year, because I know not only myself, but a lot of people were really looking forward to seeing some clips of you in that movie, as probably you were. So,
Yeah.
like you said,
There will
though,
still be, there will still be stuff coming out around it from me that no one's seen yet. So,
all right, stay glued for some fresh footy. And the last question: what's one random ass fact about yourself?
We went over the no smoking thing. I don't know.
You have a huge Lego collection. Do you online game? Do you have Nintendo?
No online game. I don't play any games at all.
You're addicted to gambling, poker.
Maybe I'm really addicted to cooking. I've been cooking a lot, and it's been going super well. Actually, I've had a couple job offers. So
What?
maybe that's pretty
That's
funny.
amazing, random fact. Before we go here, let's talk about the cooking. How did we not talk about this earlier? I love food. So does everybody else. What are you cooking up these days?
Everything. Yeah, everything.
So you cook sushi rolls. You're doing sushi dinners.
I don't cook much
Pho?
sushi, actually.
That's what I mean. You can't be
Yeah,
so
pho.
Oh, pho. Nice. There you go.
Mhm.
Okay, so you do a nice pho. What about, steaks? Do you do steaks?
Yeah, steaks all the time.
What about
Make
lamb?
a nice lamb rack. Yeah, I'll make a nice lamb rack in like a crust and everything.
What about for the vegans on here? Do you make anything vegan, gluten, dairy free?
No, not really vegan, but vegetarian, yes.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what
I'll
would be
make
a
like
vegetarian dish?
I'll make like a own filled ravioli or like some pasta filled with like cheese and some sort of vegetable type.
I can't wait to come visit you at the Snow Dome and get some grub in me.
Yeah.
I mean, I might go to one of those cafes and get a little bake just because I'm in, the Netherlands. So don't be mad at me, but
It's all good. That's a classic thing to do when you come here. Is come right to Dome and then hit the coffee shop.
I love it, dude. Thank you again for making the time to come on the show. Big fan. Can't wait to see your footage continue to drop and put out some new Snow Dome clips, dude. They're always mind melting, and we're all looking forward to them.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me again, and thanks for all this. That's sick.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person and not
Hell yeah, same.
on the Zoom call.
For sure. We'll meet somewhere.
All right. Peace, dude.
Peace.